Well, all right. It's another glorious Wednesday. And you guys know what time it is, honey. So get all of your crumpets together, baby, because it's time to dish tea. And you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meat. Hey. Hello to all of my people out there. Today I'm doing this show, honey, because I'm still in prayer. And I'm still in a reflective spirit because I want to make sure that today's show is not taken lightly. And then at the same time, I want to make sure that today's show is not frivolous and doesn't come across like many other shows have, okay? This is going to be a doozy, honey. We're doing a Don't Come Out of a Bag Wednesday, and y'all know how I am with these, okay? It's time to actually deal with what's going on in the current affairs right now. And the biggest thing that we're dealing with is the wake of what I am calling the Eddie Longate debacle. Okay? But I'm going to bring in not only that topic, but I'm bringing in something else as well. So this is going to be an opportunity for all of you to call into the show. I want you to have your voices heard. I'm going to allow you an opportunity to let some of the frustration go, because I know many of us are just as the song said, we're tired. You know, for those who have been hurt and feel like they've been bamboozled, not understanding what's going on, we have a lot here that we want to talk about. So if you want to join in on the conversation, please feel free to do so. The number here is 347-205-9183. 347-205-9183. The tea room is open, so if you want to go over there and chat with me, you're more than welcome to do so. Please come on in. If you can't voice your opinions or whatever, you can always type them there. You know how I feel about that. Make sure that you understand this is just a written word, and sometimes we may, interpret things wrongly and may become disagreeable. But just remember, it's okay to disagree. Just don't be disagreeable. No need for you to throw in your computer at somebody or into walls and all that kind of nonsense, okay? So just dish your tea over there responsibly. Hey, to all those in the tea room, Dina68, hey, baby, that's Miss Ruby, hey, girl. I have a guest, 1341, hey, sugar, whoever you are, over there in the tea room so far, and I know that we are going to, this is going to be a whopper. But before we get into it, let me say my disclaimer now, because y'all know how I am. This show is for mature audiences, and the language and subject matters are not appropriate for children or anyone who is not mature enough to handle the subject matter. See, your listening discretion is advised. Again, your listening discretion is advised. Now, for those of you who are my regular listeners, honey, you know I'm a potty mouth. I make no excuses for it, and I'm not going to. So, and with this particular subject, honey, I know I'm coming out of all kinds of bags. Now, which ones, I don't know. I just got a number of them lined up. So y'all just be ready to roll with the punches, okay? So if you're at work and, you have your speakers up loud or whatever, I'm going to tell you to turn them down or get your headphones, honey, because I'm not going to be responsible for, your demerits or reprimands, honey. I'm telling you now. So you bitches don't come running to me about nothing. You hear me? Okay. Let me say thank you to all of our sponsors who make this thing possible. For without you, there is no me. Trade Day Management and PR firm at Trade Day. Enjoy a touch of Southern hospitality with a universal appeal. For all of your public relations and entertainment management needs, contact Travion Davenport at 678-523-3088, 678-523-3088, or email at tradedaypr@gmail.com. That's tradedaypr@gmail.com. Pharaoh's Treasure Box, fine art, unique jewelry, and sensational 3D silk floral arrangements, creations by Taps. For all of your decorative needs, contact Pharaoh's Treasure Box at 248-688-5178 or 5179. 248-688-5178 or 5179, or you could email at pharaohstreasurebox@comcast.net. Pharaoh's Treasure Box at comcast.net. Parisian Wine Productions, music to lighten your spirits and lift your souls, specializing in gospel, inspirational house and dance music for all of your Christian settings or Christian socials. For your production needs, contact Paris Harrison. He's the CEO at 347-406-7734. That's 347-406-7734, or email at paris42268@yahoo.com. That's paris42268@yahoo.com. Life Fellowship of Christ Ministries, live in freedom everywhere, LIFE. Reverend James Coleman is the leader and founder of this ecumenical social justice ministries, brought forth to free the oppressed and introducing a fresh approach to the Christ consciousness. Contact Reverend Coleman at 313-833-9278, 313-833-9278, or you could email at mustardcole@yahoo.com. mustardcole@yahoo.com. Each of Vidal Couture. Enjoy high fashion with a luxurious twist. Step into the future with fresh, innovative couture. Designs by Miss Michi DeVille. For more information, contact Michi at 313-996-9807. 313-996-9807, or you can Facebook her. Facebook.com/Michi DeVille, MICHIEEDEVALE, Michi DeVille. Big Brothers Network, the BBN, a new online web magazine designed to show the world the class and style of the debonair man of size and his admirers. For the first edition has been launched this past Memorial Day weekend. For more information, contact Big Brothers Network at www.BigBrothasNetwork.com. BigBrothasNetwork.com. Caribbean Boys Enterprise, the CABC. We cater, promote, entertain, and provide specialty services with a Caribbean swagger. Island flavor on the mainland. Bam, bam. Mr. Silvano T. DeMarco is the CEO and founder of the CABC. For more information, contact Silvano at CaribbeanBoysATL@yahoo.com. That's Caribbean Boys with a Z, ATL@yahoo.com, or on Facebook at Facebook.com/Silvano T. DeMarco. That's SYLVANOTDMARCO. Kissing After Dark is Atlanta's premier social event for all those who are tired of the same old party scene. The Kissing After Dark premier events are across the Atlanta area where the grown and sexy can become the seasoned and sophisticated. And every Wednesday at the Banana Wind, right at the Underground Atlanta, you can join Kissing After Dark for Lesbian Wednesdays, the hottest lesbian attractional bi-curious party in the ATL. Doors open at 8 o'clock and goes until, honey, no cover. Drink specials stars at $3, and they got $10 for your buckets, baby. So for more information, go to Facebook and go to Kissing After Dark. That's KISSN After Dark. Yes. Swirl Films, the #1 urban film production company specializing in all areas of film production, including directing, producing, script writing, budgeting, and scheduling, production assembly, and post-production. For more information, contact Eris Thomasounis, Russ Parr, or Mr. Keith Neal at 910-798-2934. Again, that's 910-798-2934. Or for more information, just go info@swirlfilms.com. That's info@swirlfilms.com. Okay? So that's all of my sponsors for now. If you want to partner with me and to come on board with that, please send me an email at dishingteawithbigmeech@gmail.com. That's dishingteawithbigmeech gmail.com. Okay? Now, let's get into the meat of this thing because, as I said, I've been praying, I've been meditating, I've been talking with folk, and this is a doozy. This is really a doozy. There's a lot of hurt. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of going on here. Now, I said I was going to bring forth two topics. Let me start with the one I think is going to take up the least of my time, because I have started something, and I have not updated all of my brothers out there because I know a lot of you are looking for direction. And here with the Big Boi community, we are all in need of being at our optimum health. I adore being a big boy. I don't mind it. Hell, I've been a big boy all of my life. But now at the age of 40, the amount of weight that I am carrying, my body is letting me know that it's too much. And this is not a quest to become thin or skinny because I feel as though I'm missing out on something, because that's not the case. The idea of this is so that I can continue to go forward and I can see my 125th birthday and beyond. So in order for me to do that, I have to take the bull by the horns and wrestle this thing down, because it's time for a weight release to happen. And I stress that because a lot of times we have been talking about weight loss. We're on a weight loss, we're on a diet, and all that. Well, I'm learning how to educate my mind to use better vocabulary words, because one of the things about the human condition is that when we lose something, we always want to find it. So to lose weight, if I get depressed, I'm going to want to find somewhere to pick up a few pounds. But if I release the weight, if I release it, I'm here to let it go. And when I let it go, I'm not looking for it to come back. And so that's going to be my mind frame now. It is to release the weight so that I can be at my optimum health. And I put this challenge out to all of my big boys out there, because currently I've lost a few pounds. Now, I can't tell you how much because I haven't stood on the scale yet. All I know is my pregnant stomach is not up under my titties no more. It has dropped. It's dropped, okay? And you know how a pregnant woman is when her stomach starts to drop and because the baby shifted or whatever? Well, my stomach is looking like that. It's centered, and I know that I've lost a few pounds. So we're on the go. What am I doing? Well, it's difficult. However, I would say this is what I've added, okay, to my eating. I've taken on the notion of doing smoothies. Child, please, give me some fruit up in here. I don't care what kind. We'll get that blended together, honey, and I'll drink smoothies all day. I make sure that I do an intake of vegetables, and I like greens. I'm one who adores greens. So, give me some greens or some spinach, honey, on the plate, and the bitch is good to go. However, that's what I've increased. Now, what I got to pull away from is my sugar intake, because a girl will get on a sweet tooth kick, honey, and when it kicks, that girl kicks. So I got to kick it back. So that there is where I am right now. But just know that since the last time that I said something about this, there is an improvement. When I stand now, I don't get that tingling. If I don't exercise, I get that tingling sensation in my left leg. But as long as I'm walking, because I walk around my complex, and I've been lazy, haven't been doing it the last couple of days, but I do walk around my complex because it's a big one, and it takes me about a half hour to walk around it twice. And that's good because it's cardio, and all I need is just movement so that my body can get used to moving the weight around. Okay? So that there is what I have increased. And plus, now here's where it's going to get funky. I'm going to put all my business out there. And y'all know I don't care, because right now this is not about embarrassment or whatever. This here is about health. And one of the things that I've noticed is that I'm going to have to exercise because when I want to be physically intimate with someone, I'm not the 17-year-old like I was that was the racehorse. Okay, I'm a 40-year-old with a big old stomach, honey, and who's asthmatic. So a bitch can't do the flips and twirls and carry on. I can't stretch across the couch like I used to, honey, and do a backflip and hold that, honey, while I'm still trying to get my groove. It ain't happening like that no more. I don't think I should ever get back to that, but I at least want to feel like I can have an option. So because of that, I have to personally get myself into gear. And this is something I've been looking into for us big boys, is that we're looking into, those exercises that would increase our endurance. Sex is exercise. That's a lot of thrusting. That's a lot of push-ups. That's a lot of this. And if we are exercising regularly, honey, how do you expect to sit up there and be at your best when you need to be intimate so that your partner is having the optimum moment? Okay, and this is not to say that I'm shabby, praise the Lord, because I know how to work my skills. But at the same time, honey, I'm tired. I don't want to have to rely on pulling a stunt to get off. You know what I mean? The little tricks that we use to say, okay, this can get me through it. I need to be at my optimum so that I can have an enjoyable experience as well. So with that, that there is where I am. So to all my big boys out there, I'm shouting out to you, and I'm going to challenge you to pick it up like me. Okay, I'm looking for workout partners all the time. I'm looking for those who cook to sit up and come up with better menus for us. To reduce the salt, reduce a lot of the sugar in the foods and stuff, so that we can have a healthier food that's tasty. This is something that we need to do for us. I'm preparing. There's a Big Boy cruise coming up. March is my birthday, and I'll be 41. So, we got the Big Boy cruise coming up in March. We have the Spring Fling that's coming up March 25th to the 28th down in Florida, in Orlando, at the Parliament House. So, Big Daddy needs to be Big Daddy for a reason. And so in order for me to be at my optimum, I have to sit up there and do it. So I'm putting my business out there because I know there's a lot of us out there, we suck up to whatever, and we've gotten accustomed to being this size. And that's cute, because I look good. It's just that my body is telling me otherwise now. My knees, I feel like a Jabba the Hutt going down the damn stairs. I'm stomping, as opposed to being graceful and sliding and walking, And I want to return to those days of ease and sophistication with my body. I need to work my body. It can't be working me, okay? So for all of my big boys out there, I'm going to challenge you as well. This is not to be skinny. We ain't trying to be thin. We ain't trying to be all of that. This here is to be healthy. Because at 6'4", and I'm over 400 pounds, the last time I weighed myself, I was 439. So, that there is too much at this age now. At least my body is telling me. And I'm sure all of you who are big, you know what your body is telling you. You know them creaks, you know them eats, you know them weeks, you know them whatevers. You know that. You know that breathing pattern that we get that everybody hates. Old sleep apnea, honey, Miss Apnea get in the way, So we need to do better. And when you know better, you do better. So I'm going to ask you to join me in this, and I'm going to be periodically doing updates on that. Whenever I do a Don't Come Out of a Bag Wednesday, this is going to be my time to sit down and give you an update on my status, okay? So if you want to talk about that, again, the phone lines are open, 347-205-9183. And we can go from there, and that's one of the topics that's going to be on the table. Now, let's go to the doozy. Y'all know I'm hurting. I am appalled. I am saddened by all of this that has come out with Bishop Eddie Long, his four accusers, and after doing a little bit of research, I know what my opinion is, and I'm sure many of you already know it as well. I believe that this happened. I believe that it was the way that it said that it is. I just strongly believe that, because for too many times it is my heterosexual community that had a problem, because for years the LGBT community have been saying this. Everybody thought we were crazy. Everybody thought we were whatever, and we're always on trying to convert someone. We're always looking to do whatever, and so a lot of this got brushed up under the carpet. We have too many celebrities who've been brought up in the church who have come out publicly and said, honey, that a lot of sexual abuse that happened to them happened in the church. Now, right now, we have to say that these are still allegations. It has not yet been proven because they have not had their time in court yet for all of the evidence to come out. However, I'm going to implore you not to listen to what I say, but the information is online. You can Google and go and read the affidavits for yourself, and then you can start to get a better picture of what's going on, okay? Now, it is awfully funny because, y'all know, a few weeks ago I had the author of the book, The Frog Pond, on the show when we were talking about his book. And in his book, and this is a work of fiction, in that interview I was explaining to him that he was about to open up a Pandora's box, because in the book he has taken what we know the Catholic Church to do and have applied that to a Baptist church, a Baptist church setting. And if you read the book, and for those of you who don't have a copy of the book, I implore you to go get it, because when you read the book, let's take all of the criticism that we have for Eddie Long and put it into this fictional work, and let us start there so we can have creative dialogue. And when all of the facts and this case come into play, then we can put everything else everywhere else. But I know that us being human, we are still going to jump on this bandwagon. But I'm going to implore you to go and get that book, because in that book, it will take you on a journey, okay? And when you listen to the story or read the story in that book, you're going to see how the abuse of power can take place. So I want you to start there with that book. And here's what I'm going to do. For those of you who have not heard everything, okay, I'm going to first, we're going to hear from Mr. Man himself. Let me play this right now.
Allow the situation to make you a blamer. You can rehearse it and allow the situation to be relived and make you a worse person, because you continue to go over it and live in that pain. Or you can reverse it and allow the situation response to cause you to be better. We will not allow the present pain to cause us to abandon our righteous commitment and stand. Some way and somehow we will become better, and we will walk through this painful situation. The remedy for a painful situation is described by David in the best way that I know how to make it through rough times. Yea, though I walk through the valleys and the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. David, the writer, gives us an insight of how to make it through a painful time, because he seems to be focused on something higher than the pain. We can make it through these times if we stay focused on the spiritual things that have brought us thus far. And we can make it through by the power of focus. So I just took the power and took the first letters, those letters of that word, and this new birth is our focus. Number one is the P for power for prayer. We must be committed and stay committed to prayer, not just for me, not just for my family, but also for everyone concerned in these allegations and all that's going on. We must stay prayerful for the nations and prayerful for our president. We have a wonderful opportunity, and it is election time in Georgia. It's very important. We cannot be distracted and not go to the polls because we're trying to chase folk down. Early voting is now. You can go and vote because Jesus teaches us that even we have to love our enemies and pray for them too. Number two, the next letter is O for outreach. We cannot allow these things to distract us from our mission to seek and to save the lost. We are going after the lost, and some of you who came in here who think I'm lost and you need to see God, there'll be an opportunity to come down to the altar. We must continue to minister to those who are lost. The W is for worship. We must focus on the power of worship. New Birth, we have some powerful worship here, and we ain't going to stop having it. There's been healing going forth, deliverance going forth, all kind of things that happen in the power of worship. And if you just need to do it, is focus yourself and look back at the wonderful dimensions of worship that God is continuing to take us in. The E is for encouragement. We must be there to encourage one another. The Bible said David had to encourage himself. He had to do that because he was alone. We are not alone. There's a whole lot of folk up in here, up in here, up in here, and there's a whole lot of people that we can use to encourage one another. And finally, the R is for resolve. We must not forget that our strength is not in man, but in the Lord. We have come this far by faith, leaning on the Lord. We have a reliance on the Holy Spirit. And the scripture teaches us that they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up on wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk There have been allegations and attacks made on me. I have never in my life portrayed myself as a perfect man. But I am not the man that's being portrayed on the television. That's not me. That is not me. By the counsel of my lawyers, they have advised me not to try this case in the media. I am not going to try this case in the media. It will be tried in the court of justice and dealt with in the court of justice. And please understand, because that's the only place I think I'll get justice, but being in the hands of God. Please hear this. Please hear this. I've been accused. I'm under attack. I want you to know As I said earlier, I am not a perfect man, but this thing I'm going to fight. And I want you to know one other thing. I feel like David against Goliath, but I got 5 rocks, and I haven't thrown one yet.
Okay. Now those were his words, and that there is his response to these malicious allegations. Okay, and I say it like that because I'm coming from their particular camp. Okay. Now, my overall question is, what good is going to come from all of this when this passes? Because this too shall pass. But right now, we know every cloud has a silver lining. The question is, what good is going to come from this mess when this passes? And the reason why I say that is because right now, a lot of folks want to blame the victims. I've spoken with folks who have said, basically that somebody need to go and kick these victims' asses because they ain't got no business. They just, little sissies who have been scorned, and, they just need to man up and accept the fact that he didn't want no relationship with them no more. This is a relationship gone bad, and, hell, if you didn't want to do what I want you to do in the relationship, then it's over. So you need to face the facts. I've heard folks that want to persecute the bishop, in this, and he should have known better and blah, 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 and I agree, because, hell, according to the research that I've done, Longfellow's Youth Academy was founded in 2004. The bishop was born in 1953. In 2004, that would have made him 51 years old. And at the time that these allegations have taken place, you're well over the age of being grown, honey. And so in dealing with these young children when they were young, okay, something there is rotten in the cotton. So we can all point fingers and we can all get on our bandwagons, and I'm sure I'm not done yet. I'm just trying to be very politically correct here because I don't want to necessarily sway your view one way or the other. I want to just come with all the facts, at least what has been presented thus far, and get you to understand something. The black church as we know it, and I say the black church specifically because we have been bombarded with and bamboozled with a lot of bullshit. We have been taught that the pastors are our deities and we're not supposed to speak ill of them and this, that, and the other. We treat them as if they are God and forget they are men walking through life just as we are. Now I got a caller. I'm gonna take y'all calls as y'all come in. So remember, if you want to say something, press 1 if you're already listening by phone. 347-205-9183 is the number. I'm going right here to 989-790. 989-790. Hey, baby, you're dishing tea with Big Meats. What's tea?
Hey, child. Well, first, hey. First, I will get off track because I want to make a comment about this sermon or whatever you want to call it that he gave. I listened to it last night, and I just heard it again. And, child, the first thing I want to say is we know, anybody who has seen Bishop Eddie Long or whatnot, he has never been a typical Baptist minister.
True.
And he reverted for this answer because that was as typical a Baptist minister sermon as you can get.
Pretty church words, as I call it.
You said what?
Pretty church words, as I call it.
Right.
He
didn't say anything.
Church word.
Huh? He didn't say anything off record. Right. said nothing of importance, and then at the end, the way he ushered his wife out of there, like as to say, let's get out of here because I don't want to get the repercussions of this. So it just really annoyed me. Okay, but as for your question, what good is going to come from this? I also saw another thing on the internet last night with Bishop Carlton Pearson.
Yeah, I'm going to play that in a minute, but go ahead.
Okay, well, he was saying that when he decided to do the unity type movement or whatever, Bishop Eddie Long came to him after everything was said and done and everybody did away with Carlton Pearson and said, we didn't do you right. So Bishop Carlton Pearson is watching this closely and saying that we're gonna do you right, no matter what comes of this. So I think that it's going to be a wake-up call for the black churches in America, and they're going to have to open up this can of worms they've been pushing back and discuss gays in the church. There's going to have to be a conversation done. So I think that's going to be the good that comes from it.
Okay. And see, for me, I'm going to have to agree with you because one of the things and then let me add, because, see, I think what is about to happen is that church, the way that we know it, is about to be shaken. I'm going to take you here because too many times, everybody wants to sit up there and say that Jesus is on the way back, Jesus is coming, Jesus is coming, and what you going to do about it, but Jesus is already here, number one. At least, and let me say this. Let me preface this as this is my belief, because I don't want y'all sitting up there going through all these particular changes. But if you've accepted Christ, and we all been taught that Christ abides within, Christ lives in our hearts, and this, that, and the other, that means Jesus is already here because we're here.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now we're all looking for these miraculous wonders, and we want the church to come back and the work of God to come back. Well, this is where it's going to happen. Because how ironic is it? And I'm wheezing, y'all. I'm sorry, but my asthma machine ain't working right. So if y'all hear the little backdraft, I'm sorry. I got to find my sprayer, but I'm on the road. But if we are going to make sure this is going to go forth like it is, how ironic that the man who is the most vocal in the black church experience, most vocal about LGBT living, most vocal, this man has stood up everywhere, and particularly with black gay men. He detested. He's a voice of hate. There's no love for him when it comes to that. And yet you are caught in the biggest scandal in the black church.
Right.
That you are the one being accused of these particular sex acts. Okay? And after reading, let's see, here it is. After reading, I read all four of the allegations. Okay, all four affidavits. And they get very personal. Okay, they get very personal. Where they say, one of them said that there was they call it oral sodomy in the affidavits. Okay, oral sodomy has been performed on and by the bishop. Okay, they've given addresses. They've given, one of them, they're naming the names of I think this is associate minister, one of an April somebody, up in here who knew what was going on. These folks traveled with them, and they traveled knowing that he was sleeping in the bedroom with these kids. That's in the affidavit.
Wow.
So this thing here is about to get bigger than anything else. This thing, if this is true, this is about to bust hell wide open. Okay. I don't believe in hell the way that it's taught anymore. But this is finna go to bust hell wide open because there's too many names. And what about the people who run the program? Somebody else, if this is true, he didn't do all this by himself, number one. Number two, now let me get on the other side of the fence because, see, here's an interesting question because being a gay man, we know how messy queens can get when they don't get their way.
Right.
Okay. Is this our vicious allegations and the queens are sitting up there evil because they stopped getting the cars, they stopped going on the trips and this, that, and the other. What is that going to say about the rest of us who have to fight this fight? We already ostracized from the church. They pimping us in the church anyway. As long as we're singing in your choir, we can backflip, we can make the choir robes fly when we sing and carry on. We can get them to usher in the tithes and this, that, and the other. We cool. But the second we take foot and go forth, something is wrong with that. What is that going to say then?
Wait a minute, brother. Just where you went. Regardless of the fact of whether or not it's true, that is inappropriate for the cars and the jewelry anyway.
How about it?
So what is that saying about this minister that he's giving these children vehicles, jewelry, money, whatever, whether it been sexual or not? Why are we giving these gifts with the church funds?
Now that is a lovely point. I love that point. I got another call. I'm gonna bring him in. Stay right there, 989. I'm coming to you, 615-944. Come on in and join in. 615-944. Hey, baby, you're dishing tea with Big Me. Hey, baby.
How you doing? This is Trent from Facebook.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing?
I'm everything, and everything is me, honey. Dish your tea, honey.
Well, the first thing I want to say is, the sexual chocolate stance he did by dropping the mic and, turning on his heels and walking off after he made
Did you say the sexual chocolate move? You did not.
But he dropped the mic and just walked away. The second thing I want to say, is this. With the people that I saw in the church, it's like, I don't know, like a new age Jim Jones parishioners. They are absolutely crazy. It's to the point to where I feel like whether he did it or not, they don't care. Don't talk about my bishop.
Right, but that's cultural.
Right.
That's cultural because we as black folks, that's how we've been taught to act with our bishops and our churches, our church leaders. Yeah, we take that stance. You don't fuck with them, honey. No, you don't. That's just how we are as a people.
Another thing I see is don't judge him, even if he did it, and he said, I'm not perfect, but I'm not the man, whatever the hell he said. My whole point is this. Now it seems like the anti-gay Christian black churches, don't judge, whatever. Now, had it been any other gay person anywhere has judged it with their left or right, from the flow to the goddamn, and you know it. But about him, it's not. And by the way, I'm not a Christian, so, I can judge if I want to. That's how I look at it. But, it is, because they judge us and, run us in the ground every Sunday, but nobody can talk about your bishop. Really.
Well, you know what? It's interesting you should say that because I just posted something up on Facebook that I found today. And in finding this, I saw this to be absolutely, it's diabolical because this article was written in November 2009. And it talks about there is one of Bishop Long's spiritual sons, so that's how they're addressed in the affidavit. That when they come into the Longfellow services or whatever, or this academy, there's 4 different levels, and you start off as spiritual sons. Okay.
Right.
He says that there's a cat named Brian Tamaki who's out of New Zealand and has started this same kind of ritual, if you will, in New Zealand. And the writer says that he was a part of of the church at this particular time. And he says that during the time that they were going through all this, these little rituals and stuff is a part of what it is. And you become, wait a minute, hold on, because it's 4 different stages. The level 1, you are sons. Level 2, you are rough riders. Level 3, you become gladiators. And at level 4, you become Ishmen. Now, what the hell is Ishmael? I don't know. However, as I was trying to find a definition, according to this article that I read, the Ishmael are supposedly a biblical reference that's supposed to mean an upstanding man of God who takes care of his family, who does this, who does that. And this is what the writer says that Bishop Long has said to them, where they would be an Ishmael. However, as I was looking up the word Ishman, there's nothing in the dictionary that says that, because I've looked online. But the word ish, I-S-H, is a suffix that we all know that, crack-ish. Okay, yeah, you crazy-ish. And that means that you are a part of something. Okay, you have mimicked the image of or taken on the characteristics of something else, of the former, okay, whatever you are attached to. You're crack, like they said about Whitney, honey, you may not be a crackhead, but you crack-ish, okay? Okay, and this, that, and the other. And so and for those of you, yes, I have a Facebook page. Go, and you can read the article, because I don't want to get into it because it's going to take up a lot of the time, because I want to play a couple more clips. However, that there is frightening. Now, that was written in 2009. Okay, this is well before all this had taken place. So that means this has been a process that's been going on. And they're talking about these spiritual rituals. And he said at that time, they wasn't given jewelry. They got Leatherman-like jackets. Okay. You know, like you're part of the football team or something.
Right.
Okay, and so I was like, wow, now that there was very interesting. Now, see, I want you, now let me go to the program, because, you know, Eddie Long's lawyer said that as far as them taking trips or whatever, it's part of the program. You know, this is what they do, and et cetera, et cetera. But let me read to you a couple of things that they're supposed to know, okay? Now, looking at this, the overall program it would be a fabulous program, okay, because you are learning, loving and learning how to be leaders, because there's a loving program where you go through the intelligence portion and the ability applications portion, and then there's a leadership program where you go through the intelligence and the application and ability program. Okay, and in this, one of the things that I know, let's take level 2. One of the things of the emotional side of the intelligence is how to use strategies to control your desires for sex. For the intelligence of understanding Christian teachings and standards for thoughts and actions as it relates to sex. Now, mind you, I'm skipping and picking because if you go to go to the LongfellowYouthAcademy.org. LongfellowYouthAcademy.org. This is their site, and this here is the outline of the program. Okay? Of what it is that you're going to. Okay, it's the outline of the program. Here's another one where it says, on the emotional side, honey, they will learn to create a sex self-check card that you will carry in your wallet. On it, you will write your vision for your life, a scripture, and 3 things that you could be doing instead of having sex.
Oh.
Then here's another one. And I'm picking out the sex stuff, and I know it sounds like I'm being that way, but I'm picking all this out because I understand it. And I want you to hear me, because we as men, you know, we're programmed to be. We all know men are very sexual creatures. Okay, and understanding that the program is to sit down and to curtail that. You know, you want to be upstanding men, you know, to where you're not driven by your loins. I got all that. That's the comment I said. The way how this is written, this sounds like a beautiful program. okay, up under a mentoring, kind of thing. However, this is what I'm reading, honey, will show you how things could get misconstrued, and we can hear where the abuse of power may have taken place if these allegations are correct. Okay. Now, Here we have again. This here, where was I at? Okay, this is under health and fitness, under the living, this is one of the intelligence monikers, number 5. It says, what is sex and the physical, chemical, and neurological effects it has on a man and a woman? Okay, so that's level 2. Yeah, that's level 2. And I will be damned if my Firefox did not just crash on me. No.
What?
All right. My Firefox, my computer. Firefox does that from time to time, honey. But we're just going to get it to restore, get everything moving right now. Okay, I'm back. Okay. Under this program, it says here that they will visit an AIDS clinic, take an HIV test, and journal your experience. Now, I want you to pay attention to that because throughout this lineup, these boys in the program are supposed to journal their experience, which means they're writing it down.
Right.
Okay, that's a part of the program. And again, like I said, this ain't went to trial yet. This has not gone to trial yet. This has not gone to trial yet. However,
now, that's very interesting right there. Very interesting because you have encouraged these boys to keep a record.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So now we got it all written down and dated.
Right.
Wow.
Okay. A lot of them, like I said, they're learning how to, they got financial stuff in here, learning how to budget, learning how to put budgets together, how to stay on the budget, and et cetera, et cetera. Gladiators, this is level 3. On the emotional side, how to use strategy to control your anger, how to use strategy to control your desire for sex.
Okay.
Okay, again. Okay, now, they are inoculated with Bishop Long because, he's an author. And part of the program is, at each level, honey, there's a book that they have to read that he's written Okay, so this is still his tutelage. And after each chapter, they have to write a page. They have to write a 1-page essay after each chapter, outlining the chapter and how they understand it. So, again, the whole idea of mentoring, mentoring means that I'm turning you into me, basically. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Right. When it's all said and done, you're going to be a carbon copy of me, or I'm going to have such an influence on you to where it's just like a father. Fathers do that with their sons. I want you to go into the family business. I want you to be like me. I want, that kind of thing. Looking at the program, again, I say this here has... everything in here is wonderful and how it's written, and I see where this can be, these are lifelong lessons. However, in this, and like I said, go look at it and read it all for yourself, LongfellowYouthAcademy.org, okay? And you can read all of this for yourself. Here it is. What level is this? Is this the Ishmael level? Yeah, this is level 4, where they will travel to a foreign country, exposing oneself to the beauty of the culture and keeping a daily journey of the experience.
Okay.
Now, I know I read that like that because I meant it like that, because that's another one of those areas where we can see how this can be misconstrued. Okay? My whole thing is also now let's look at it from this particular angle, because now that this is out here, everybody want to pray for the bishop and his family. And I say his family, I say his neighbors too, because I'm pissed. I'm pissed at the media because they had no business over there. Down here in Atlanta, we had one of the news stations over here. They were outside that man's house at 5 o'clock in the morning doing a fucking live feed. At 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay?
Wow.
You over there in that neighborhood, these fellas are sitting up in here. The neighbors don't know when to get all up in here. You putting their business all up in there. Okay?
Right.
You know, upset the neighborhood with all this excess traffic. You got people wanting to know where the bishop lived. In fact, one of the ladies said, I just wanted to come out and see where he lived, to see the house. Yes, she did. Black woman. Yes, she did. It's on the news. It was on the news.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a mess.
So now you have created this situation now to where the neighbors can't even be in peace. Okay?
Well,
and since I said that, hold on, because let me go here, because I'm so furious. And a lot of folks are saying that, well, you know, that's a part of it and this, that, and other. But I am furious because Fox 5 Atlanta, the reporter, went to Colorado to find this boy, to get him to make a statement. They didn't go to the damn press. You went and found him. Hold on, let me hear what you're on.
His presence alone is seduction to a young man without a father. You look at him and he's everything you want to be. He's everything you see and you dream to be. And being around him, it's almost like a drug. You can't believe the place that you're at in your life and the things that you're doing and the cars that you're driving and the people that you're meeting. So it becomes, if I want to continue to feel this love and this power, I'll do whatever my dad wants me to. I can't accept in my mind that he never was a dad to me. So I love him for that. But at the same time, for what he did to me and taught me and how I see the world, I'll never be able to forgive him for that.
Why didn't you just stop and say, Bishop, that's wrong?
You're afraid to lose your father. You're afraid that if you tell him no, the support that he gives to yourself, the support that he gives to your family, and the support that he gives to you mentally, and the fact that you finally have a father that you've always wanted for and always dreamed of, would just walk away from you if you don't give him what you want. So you end up turning into something you never thought you'd be, which is now a slave to a man that you love. If you look at us in our eyes and you hear the pain in our voice, we don't have a reason to lie to this man. I love him, and I'm always going to have love for the things that he taught me. But how he left us, it hurt worse than anything I ever felt in my life. So while the media and the press and the rest of the people around the city or around the country look at us like, how can a grown man let another man touch him? What you have to understand is this man manipulated us from childhood. This was our father, and we loved him. This man turned his back on us when he had no more need for us. That's not a father. That's a predator. We would have to be the craziest kids in the world to want to come out and admit to another man touching on us publicly. To really believe this is about money would be absolutely ludicrous. I cannot get the sound of his voice out of my head, and I cannot forget the smell of his cologne, and I cannot forget the way that he made me cry many nights when I drove in his cars on the way home, not able to take enough showers to wipe the smell of him off of my body. But that man cannot look me in my eye and tell me we did not live this pain, while you can sit in front of the church and tell them that you categorically deny it. You can't say that to our face. And you know this. You are not a man. You are a monster.
Wow. Okay. That's the edited version because of, a lot of it was the rest of the news report. I thought that's the one I pulled up. But they just took out all of the reporter's part and just had Jamal in all of Jamal's words. So, but yeah, that there is Jamal's statement. Okay. Now, listening to that, and I'm going to say this, and this is my opinion, because after dealing with my clients and dealing with those who have been sexually abused, the way how he described that, and dealing with the fact that I've had to deal with sexual abuse in my own family and my sister's recovery and carrying on, when she said to me that she could not wash him off of her, that sounds like rape. Okay. And I'm not saying that that's what happened. I'm just saying what it sounds like to me because that's too personal for me. Okay? That's too personal for me.
Mm-hmm.
And dealing with clients that I've dealt with and have that, and I'm hurting because I can feel the pain. Now, whatever the truth is going to come out. But I'm so tired. That's why I opened up with Kelly Price, tired. I'm so tired of my community being the brunt of all this bullshit. I'm so tired of my community not being taken seriously because you want to keep throwing God in my face and telling me how wrong I am when God made me, and God is the one who's going to have the final say. So not man, not a deacon, not a damn choir, not a motherboard, not nobody. When it's all said and done, it is going to be about how I served God's people and what I did to be fruitful with my life. My character is what's going to be the main front, not all this other bullshit. And it hurts me that we as a people who have lived and have been born in the church and have been taken to those places where it's okay for me to go here, but because you don't think I'm masculine enough for you, that everything about me is supposed to be burned and condemned, my life means nothing because I do whatever you think is wrong. I'm tired of my community having to face that. I'm tired of victims always having to defend themselves because if one more motherfucker say to me, I wonder what they going to get out of this, it offends me. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand your point in it because, of course, we all say that there's something in it for everybody. You know, you're doing it for some reason. There's a reason behind it. There's a motivation. But nobody is looking at the pain that this has caused anybody. And right now it's only 4, okay, that has come public. According to the lawyer, BJ, this is the lawyer for the boys, she said that there's too many of them that has come to her and say that they want to put it on the lawsuit, but they don't want to go through the steps to take it. Because there's a process. There's a sit-down moment. There's a this moment. There's a that moment. Okay, to make sure that your allegations are going to be true, because you're not going to damage my reputation with some BS. Okay, if what you got, we can back it up and make a case out of this, and it's real, then you need to take the proper steps. Nobody is looking at that. Nobody is looking at his kids. What about the bishop's children? He has 4 kids that got to sit up there and go through this about what their daddy is accused of doing. Okay?
Right.
They got to sit there and live with that ridicule from a man who from his own mouth said that this is wrong and you're going to burn in hell, and somebody said that you're doing this in the dark.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what
the hell kind of father is that? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's terrible, but like you said, if people were in his neighborhood and, you know, they were disturbing the neighbors and all of that, I understand that. But when it comes to the bishop, I don't have no goddamn sympathy for that ass. I want them to hang him by his nuts. You got that coming because you come for me every Sunday about being gay. I don't care. Get it. That's what I say.
And a lot of people feel that way. But again, see, we can't be ready to put him on the crucifix like that. And
I agree with that.
Even though he put us there, he done burned us in hell, he done ostracized us, he done did all of that. We cannot put him on that same crucifix. And I know it feels right. I know it feels right. It feels vindicated, you know. But at the same time, we cannot be the ones to manipulate that. Because even though there's a 99%, in my book, there's a 99% chance that this is all true, there's still that 1% that this could all be calculated. This can all be a calculated stuff.
I doubt it's calculated. But I agree with you with not crucifying the man, because in this, he needs to see the wrong in it, and he needs to adjust himself accordingly. He needs to be able to walk in the truth like we do.
Yeah. Whatever his truth is.
Well, his truth is going to change in a minute.
No, it's not. His truth is still going to be his truth. He just needs to walk in it, whatever it is.
Well, yeah, there you go. I'll give you that.
Okay, whatever that is. I'm going to bring in another caller. I got 770-739. 770-739. Hey, baby, you're dishing tea. Did I get you? Hold on. Come on now.
I'm here.
There we go. 770, you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, come on and join on in.
I've been listening to a lot of what's going on and watching on the news and reading some of the documents, and I do have to say part of me agrees or thinks that there is some truth. I think one of the things that people need to understand is that he is a man. He is of this world, and he is a man, and he is full of sin. And I say this because I'm a member of the church of New Birth.
Interesting.
I've been going to New Birth for over 8 years, and I've heard these rumors for a very long time. Now, to have these things come out now, I've had so many people call me, and it's like, oh, my God, I've heard you say it before, and it's really true. I do think that there is some, what's the word am I looking for? Actuality to it. And in listening to his comment that he made on Sunday, one of the things that he said is that he is human. And by admitting that statement, he is admitting to some guilt.
Well,
I agree with that because that's exactly how I felt when I heard that.
Exactly.
Exactly how I felt when I heard that.
Here's the question, because, see, when I heard that, this is my thing, and I'm still going on the fact that these are still allegations, because even if all of this proves to be just that, allegations and not true, what you have just set up for me is that, okay, this may not be true, but y'all finna hear some shit.
There's going to be a lot of shit coming out. Trust me.
Okay.
I can guarantee that there is going to be more boys come forward with that. I mean, it's my part that I kind of struggle with. I mean, you go to church, you listen to what he has to say, but you as an individual have to learn for yourself what is true, what is wrong, by reading your own Bible.
Okay, now, I was talking to somebody about that this morning, but you have to think about this, too. Like, he started with these boys at a young age. What about the people who are young in Christ, who are solely holding on because of what they see, what they hear, and what they feel? You know, they're only holding on to what you tell them and what they're learning from you. So if you are the example and you mess up this majorly, what they got to hold on to, they're going to all fall off by the wayside. They're not going to be a part of the church no more.
But if you listen
they're
to what
leave
they preach,
and not going to have strength to come back.
If you listen to what they preach, the Bible teaches you to learn discernment. Listen to what he says, but learn for yourself what you
I
think
agree
is right
with you. I'm not disagreeing, but I'm just saying that the young Christians don't have that strength when they start. They gain it as they go along. But all of these people that are new, this is going to be devastating for these people.
It's going to be devastating for everybody, especially in the Black
True. True.
You know,
but I think
here's. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I think that those who have been apart longer are going to have more strength to carry on. They just know that this is a man and he made this big mistake. But these younger ones, they're going to have a lot of struggle if they even make it through.
But for you to sit up in there and you're going to see, based on part of his comments, and if you listen to a lot of the parishioners that go to his church, a lot of them now are really believing that something actually happened.
Okay.
Wow.
You put them to the edge of the cliff and you drop them. Well, I didn't do anything. Or you put them to the edge to say, okay, you know, yes, I am a man of sin and I am human and I make mistakes, and you stop right there.
Right.
Where does that leave you?
Right.
You know, if you want to talk to your parishioners first, fine, talk to them and let them know what's going on. But he neither denied it nor did he say he did anything. He left it
and
open
after he
people.
said what he said, I thought he was going to go on.
Exactly.
And then it was just nothing. And I agree with you. And I'm not a member there, but I'm sitting here listening to it like that was some bullshit.
But like,
and that's how I felt.
like if you read the lawsuits, I mean, there's a lot of details in there, and there are certain things that he is not going to be able to hide. There are certain things that is traceable.
That's my point. Because, see, with the cars were not registered to the boys, and they was registered to members of the church.
Exactly.
Okay. The
fact
they got
alone
addresses.
that he took all these boys and put them on the church's payroll, and they're giving them money off of the church's payroll, what are they doing?
Exactly.
You know, the one person who really, if you read through all of the lawsuits, the one person that really has any clout over him is Jamal, because Jamal was his personal assistant.
Hello.
Big Boi knew his entire schedule of what he was doing, where he was, when he was, everything.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And he was the one that actually reached out to the other three boys to say, have these things happened to you?
Happened to you, exactly.
And they all said yes.
Now, see, if I remember correctly, Jamal was the one who had a suicide attempt, right?
That part I'm not sure about.
I know one of them
had
attempted suicide.
One of them did. And I know all of them has gone through some type of trauma throughout all of it.
Exactly.
But he is the one that has the most damaging testimony.
Exactly. Now there's some new pictures that came up. If y'all, they're floating around. They're on Gossip, but they're not all that incriminating. I don't think these pictures. It's a stretch to the imagination. They're not all that incriminating or whatever. But they put up new pictures of him being with Paris and this, that, and the other. But they're not all that incriminating as far as I'm concerned. You can't make one thing or another out of them. But the testimony here is very personal. And like I said, if you read through it, I'm telling y'all, honey, don't just take my word for it. See, this is one of the things that I implore is that, and this is how the church get caught up. Don't just listen to what I'm saying. This stuff is online. It's public record now. You can go and read it for yourself. Read it. Read it. Okay? It's right there.
Right.
It's right there. And the sadness in all of this is that a lot of folks don't want to hear truth. Healing cannot take place until truth is stood on righteously. You got to stand in full truth in order for this to take place. What about this?
But you see, the other part, there's one other part to all of this that nobody's really talked about, is that with all of these 4 boys so far, their parents all knew what was going on.
Now, so there's a statement.
There's one of the statements where the parents was actually getting paid from the church while Bishop Long was taking care of these boys.
Yeah. They would put the mothers would put up in the house or somewhere. Now also, I don't have it, but I'm gonna put it up on the Facebook page. There's a statement from one of the boys' fathers, the guy from Charlotte, North Carolina. Now he admits that he and his son were estranged. Okay, and that they had come back together. Then his son just stopped talking to him. He said, and I didn't know what was going on. He said, but now as I'm looking back on it, that these allegations have come out, he said, I'm starting to realize it because it hurt my feelings that he would call Bishop Daddy in front of me.
Really?
Yes.
But in every one of these cases, whatever was going on, the bishop actually spoke to their parents and got the authorization from their parents to continue on. So these parents knew what was going on.
Yes.
So at least some degree they knew what was going on.
One of them, and I think it's Paris, Jamal Paris. I think it was him, or was it Flag? Whichever one, I don't remember which one. Where he went to the mother because the boy had just got out of jail or something. He went to the mother and said, I'm going to have him move in with me. And the mother said, okay. After they talked and they hashed it out or whatever, she agreed. And so the boy moved in and was up under his tutelage, of course. I got another caller coming in, 313-772. Come on and join in on the subject, 313-772. Hey, baby, you're dishing tea with Big Meech.
Hey, Big Meech, how art thou?
Thou art wonderful, honey. What's going on?
I just wanted to ring in on a Christian woman perspective.
Okay.
With an actor background, me thinks he protests too much.
Oops.
the damnation that he gave homosexuals was, I mean, if you're pointing the finger, how many are pointing back at you?
All right now. All right.
I saw it coming, and I'm in Detroit. I saw that. It was bound to happen. Somebody had to fall.
Oh,
wow.
And I'm sure he's not the only one. Now, the Catholic Church had their scandal. Isn't it the Baptist Church time?
Well, here's my thing on that, and here's the thing, okay? And being that 100% of my experience with people like this have ring to be true, and that is the person who has always been the loudest and the most rabid and the most vocal and the most heinous when it comes down to their dislike for gay people have always been ones who have had to deal with that issue. You know what, and on that, let me play this because I want to get this in on the program. I say I'm going to end up running just a little bit longer. Hold on, I'm going to play this interview from Bishop Carlton Pearson. Y'all listen.
I'll start with, why did you change your philosophy? Why did you go out on a limb and say gays are accepted in heaven, something that the black church disagrees with?
Well, not only the black church, the church disagrees with it, and my gay friends, and I have several over the years, were some of the most sensitive, loving, creative, ingenious, generous people. Some are members of my family. I got tired of sending them to hell, but it was the hell issue. They're going through it now, but these brilliant human beings spending eternity in a customized torture chamber, it messed with my theology and my heart. And so I started preaching the gospel of inclusion, saying that Hindus, Muslims, Jews, everybody has access to the grace of the God we preach, and that not only a few Christians were going to heaven, and that's what got me in trouble with church. The devotion to the devil and hell is stronger or as strong as anybody's devotion to Jesus in many of the Christian circles.
We're going to talk more about that in a minute, okay, and why this is such a taboo subject within the black church specifically. But Eddie Long, your very good friend, he's sought your advice, he's sought your counsel a number of times. Did he reach out to you when all of this started happening?
I reached out to him. A couple of years ago, he embraced me. When he knew that I had been sort of castigated from the church, he walked up to me in Vegas at the Trumpet Awards and just embraced me and said, "Bishop, we didn't do you right."
Wow.
Now, that was a very powerful expression from him because no one else had said it that way.
Interesting for someone who's been very vocal about homosexuality and that it's not accepted and he's against gay marriage. So he came to you and said, "We didn't do you right." When you came out and said, "I accept lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender."
Absolutely. I think in his heart, he does accept them. I think in all of our hearts, it's not kosher, if I could use that terminology, to accept them because people like Ted Haggard, Ted couldn't have gotten where Ted got. He couldn't have grown and gone where he went in our Christian evangelical fundamentalist movement if he was gay. So he went as far as he went, and then they said, "Oh, no, you don't qualify any longer." He's still Ted. I know him. I think the kid was on my college wing at ORU. It grieves me that we treat people the way we do once we find out that they stop impersonating who they aren't. And the imposters are falling away. What would we do if Eddie Long really was involved in these relationships? And then what do we do? Do we throw him away? Do we castigate him? He's a prince of a preacher. He's really a prince of a person. He's a generous spirit. He's an incredible worker in this city. Infidelity, adultery, that's a whole other subject. But if he did this, the question is, what would we do? The people rejoiced Sunday because he didn't admit to anything. They didn't want him to.
But that's what's interesting. He didn't admit to anything. There is a possibility. He said, "I am not a perfect man," but he did not come up to the pulpit and say, I am not gay. He didn't say those words. He didn't say these fears, these concerns that are coming forward, this talk about me specifically. It was vague. So What, I mean, and of course these are all allegations at this point. What if he does come forward, Bishop, and say, I told you I wasn't a perfect man, and I've been struggling with this issue, and he does say that he's gay. What if this story changes? How will you deal with that? Will you accept him? Will you embrace him? How would you counsel him as his friend?
Well, I would put my arms around him like he did me and say, we will do you right. The scripture says if a brother or person is overtaken or taken over by a fault, some translations say sin, you who are spiritual, not you who are critical or you who are religious, restore. The word katartizo in Greek means to repair, to adjust. If that's his case, and he's been saying otherwise, and he's dealing with inner issues, usually the people that speak the most vociferously against something are dealing with it in their own life. The one that's railing against drugs or drinking or sex or whatever, they're dealing, and it's not the issue of homosexuality, it's the issue of human sexuality. How do we deal with our sexual side, our sensual side, our spiritual side? Because they interplay, they interact. So it's wrong for, I'm not for Christian cannibalism, eating our dead or dying, destroying them the way we do so many people. He should have been able to. In fact, before this got into the media and even to the courts, I wish the young men would have come to some of the apostles around the ministry and confronted the bishop and said, let's deal with this. And then if he didn't, take it out to the courts. I wish we could gather around, and we will. If we find out this about that these allegations are true, those who really love the church and love the bishop will gather around him apostolically to embrace him and to let him talk to us. Who could he have spoken to if that was really his issue? What could he have said?
You've talked about this as well, the issue of being a black gay man, especially in the church, and a man within ministry, gospel music. There have been allegations that have come forward. There have been individuals that have come forward and said, I'm gay, and have been completely shut out of the black church because of that. Why is it so unacceptable to be a black man and to be gay and to lead a flock? Why is it so taboo?
Well, first of all,
it's not just biblical. I mean, there's a cultural
of course
here.
Yeah, that's for white folks. See, y'all are supposed to do all that kind of stuff. We don't do that kind of stuff. we real men. I said that in jest, but that's an underlying.
Interesting. That's what's going on.
Yeah, we don't do weird stuff. Now, the other hypocritical aspect of that is our churches, Kira, are filled with same-gender loving people, from the music department to the pulpits.
Exactly.
Black music, church music, where would it be without our same-gender loving or gay musicians and singers? Not all of them are.
But many have come to you and said, I'm gay, but I can't come
out.
Yes. And we're talking very powerful people within the gospel industry.
Yes,
I've met them.
Yes, ma'am. With tears in their eyes, they were afraid. There are people who come to me and say, I embrace your gospel of inclusion, Bishop, but I can't. It's not a theological issue with me. It's a business decision. I'll lose my flock. I'll lose my money. I'll lose my parsons. I'll lose myself. I can't love everybody. I can't even love me, he would say. And I want to say to that group, and this is a wake-up call. Until the church, black or otherwise, confronts, not combats, confronts this issue of human sexuality and homosexuality, which is not going away. Homosexuals and homosexuality is not going away. If every gay person in our churches left, or those who have an orientation or a preference or an inclination or fantasy, if everyone left, we wouldn't have a church.
Exactly.
We'll stop it right there. Because I'm down to the last
man. I agree. And I'll say that again. New Birth. You look at New Birth. I would say 30%, if not more, of that church is gay. You look at that choir, you can tell. And every other Black Baptist church you go to, it's the same thing. But when the pastor gets up there and talks about it, we say nothing.
Right.
Okay.
Now, see, here's the thing. Now, I'm down to like my last 90 seconds. So those of you listening by computer, you got 90 seconds to try to get in 347-205-9183 because I think I got a little bit of minute afterwards.
I got one
talk.
quick thing else to say, too, against that.
Go ahead.
When she said about the minister, about him not knowing, Rumor has it that he already knew 3 weeks before that this was coming out.
Yeah.
They went to him and tried to get it resolved before they went to the media.
Yeah. Jamal says that in the interview.
And I heard that before Jamal said it. So the church, New Birth, the church, the bishop already had the opportunity to try to resolve this issue before it came to the media. He did not respond, and that's why they went to the media.
Wow. Okay. Now, we're still going to stream, and I want to thank all of you for coming in. So if you're on the phone, you're going to be cool. If you're not, the computer's going to stop streaming. You can catch all of this in the archives, and I thank you for all of your love and support. But I have to say this because Miss Tracy 29 over here in the tea room, honey, is livid for me, okay? Because this child just said, honey, it's all about the money. She said she's dead serious. Hating gays is lucrative because it lets true sinners point the finger and feel righteous. So It's all about the dollars. Baby, that's ringing in my soul right there. Okay? It's ringing in my soul. And so one of the things that we want to look at, because this doesn't become a gay issue about whether or not he's gay or this, that, and the other. This is a conduct issue. This is conduct because we all know too many times the single folks that's been in the church, okay, when the pastor was having all these damn babies and carrying on with all the single women, honey, the time we turn around, something came up, somebody else is pregnant. It's the pastor, it's the deacon, it's the somebody, okay? So it's all about the conduct of the people, okay, of our leaders that's in question here. Just as you said, about, it was inappropriate. Who in the hell is going to give, the jewelry and all these elaborate gifts to people that's on your payroll like that, and it's not universal? It didn't go across to everybody that's on the payroll. Lavish gifts like this, that, and the third, honey. These pictures that are allegedly sent to these boys. You in Speedos, child. You got on DEBACLE shorts and the muscle shirt. Come on. Okay, as a pastor, who would you send that to if that wasn't your wife?
Exactly.
It's the conduct that becomes inappropriate. And that is what we have to look at here. It's not about whether he's gay or this, that, and other. Okay, although I have my personal beliefs on that. However, it's beyond all of that. It's beyond that. And see, what about the souls? See, this is where it gets, when it all gets down to it, what about those who look to him as a leader? Be this right or wrong? Because, see, now the element of doubt is there. What are you going to do to repair your reputation? Because if these allegations are not true, okay, now what is your platform going to be? Are you still going to spot that hate from the pulpit? You were just marching about gay marriages and carrying on, but yet they said you have these ceremonial type, the lawyer calls it the marriage-like ceremonies.
Right.
So did you marry these boys? Did you have commitment ceremonies with these boys?
Right.
Okay. And then you marching against gay marriage? Really? The conduct.
Right.
Okay. What about those we just had the caller say he go to the church. What is the church going to do? Because they look into you. You've been the senior pastor of this church since 1987.
Wow.
1987, that's the year I graduated high school. You've been the senior pastor. And this is not to say that he's a bad man, because there's good in everybody. He's done some wonderful work in the community. He does what he does. That's how he got his popularity and things, because he's good in the community. And this is not to put ill on none of that. And I want folks to understand this is not to bash him. This here is to put an eye on the truth. The truth has got to come forth, because I'm still taking the position. I keep saying if the allegations are not true. Because if they're not true, we've got to move beyond this. And that means something in you has got to change, because folks felt comfortable to come to you to accuse you of this. So what is it in there that you ain't doing? If they are true, just like the Bishop Pearson said, Carlton Pearson, okay, then what? What does that mean now? Okay, we as
where do we go
say
from
that all the
here?
time.
Right.
You know, we say that all the time. As far as, okay, if everybody were to come out, then it wouldn't be such, you know, such the ridicule or whatever. It wouldn't be this fantasy or whatever. You know, because those who ought to need to, okay? You know, and then it would put a different look at, and the world as we know it would change, and people would see that we are real people and not these little freaks of nature and carrying on. What about the abuse? Because, see, what we still have to get over is the abuse. We're talking about abuse here, where you have manipulated the minds of young, impressionable kids. They tell us that all the time, that the mind of a child is impressionable during those developmental ages. You're talking about an organization where they took boys, pubescent boys, hormones raging. They don't know what the hell to do. Everything is everything.
But then another thing people are overlooking is that the spiritual aspect of this whole thing is more of a control than any other person that will be in this situation could control these children. Exactly. The spiritual aspect plays a very strong role in it, because even though nobody ever molested me, that spiritual hold over me and the gayness was extremely strong for many, many years.
Of course.
That element alone kept a hold on these boys.
Of course.
And that element alone
for years.
Right. And it also is a stronger fear for the boys to come public. See, that's another thing people not looking at. They're looking at the sexual part, but the spiritual part, for them to come out public in a spiritual setting.
Right.
Saying that this is what took place, and then the same sex, that is a strong thing to be able to do. That's hard.
No, what it is death. Because the spirit has been killed. Because we've all been taught that. Okay, we've all been taught that. Okay, a spiritual death, trying to come back from a spiritual, there has to be a resurrection. Because, you know, I've been saying this for years, child. As long as you say God don't like it, it does become religion. It becomes a form of government. Because that's how, if God don't like it, it is a sin. Then it becomes controllable. You could sit down and mold folks. You could get them to do what they want. That's what came out of the boy's mouth in his statement. He said his aura was intoxicating, especially for those who don't have fathers. Now, I want to know how many of the folks in this program come from fatherless homes, because the article that I put up on Facebook, the writer says that most of the folks in there come from homes that don't have fathers. So they become, quote, unquote, prey. Because someone is there to you know, the whole idea, and don't get me wrong, because, you know, there's always the Big Brothers programs out there. There's wonderful heterosexual men out there who know how to take boys and guide and shape and mold them and be an influence in their lives, because boys need that. Without influencing. You know, in gay community, we say that all the time for those who are chicken hawks, those who claim they like these little young boys and sit up there and fuck up their damn mindsets or whatever, and then we got to deal with them on the backside because they done became abused and hurt. You know, they go in little puppy dogs and they come out fucking pit bulls because now everything is wrong, and so they're attacking everything because they've been hurt.
Right.
They've been hurt. And who's going to be there for the pain? See, we could go through all of this hoopla or whatever, but it's hurt all the way around. Because here's the thing that a lot of folks ain't getting. Because Eddie Long got to sit up there and look himself in the mirror from the day these allegations set forth until the day God called him home. Until he makes peace with whatever his truth is, he's hurting too. Because if this is true, the lies and the deceit and everything that he's been doing for the last 20-some-odd years his world has just crumbled. The world that he knows has just crumbled. If this is all a lie, and he got them little 5 thrones to stow, and this all is a lie. He still is hurting because now you have just become a public spectacle. My family, my children, my congregants, my business associations, all of my partners. That's just like an athlete, honey. When you get dirt, honey, they pull your endorsements, so now your livelihood is threatened.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's always going to be a question behind everything after this, whether it be true or false. It's always going to be questions.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And at this particular stage of the game, my darling, that there is where it's hurt and there's pain. And healing is only going to come when the truth is out. And listening to, after reading these and listening to Mr. Paris, you know, and I'm still upset with the media for hunting him down like a dog like that, and I'm saying it like that because that's how I felt when I heard. We went to Colorado and we found him at a 24-hour supermarket or store. I said, you found him at a 24-hour store.
Yeah, no.
Okay, you went to Colorado. This wasn't them having, you know, someone in Colorado that was a sister station giving a live feed. You left Atlanta.
They went there.
And went there. Really.
Now that's a mess.
And that's the part that's the pain in this, because you're trying to get the scoop and build your career. See what I'm saying? There's so many layers to this. Because it becomes newsworthy, and the reporters and everybody trying to get the scoop. You know what I'm saying? Destroying everything else, because now, in order to get the scoop, that's where the neighbors come in at. That's where this come in at. Hell, they interviewed Jamal Paris' good friend. He was in the Army. He was over in Iraq, and he said, and that clip is up on YouTube as well, he stood up there and said that Jamal told him this 2 years ago.
Huh.
Okay, of all this stuff was going on. So the pain is there, and we as a people have, you know, and I said this on Facebook once, and folks thought that I would, you know, they misconstrued it, but I'm going to say it again because I believe it this way. I don't think that praying is going to do it anymore because we've already prayed. And if you are a faith walker like you say that you are, then it's time to praise this thing through. God ain't a God where you got to beg, honey. God said pray once and then praise it through. So now the praise report that goes up is for God to come down and let spirit of truth reign, and that healing comes through this truth. Whatever it is, whatever truth is, let it come through so that all parties involved, and that's become the world now because everybody that got involved in this story, directly or indirectly, so that we can all heal. See, stuff like this, we have looked at the church, those who don't go to church anymore. I don't affiliate myself with the church anymore, and I was going to an LGBT affirming church. My pastor was gay, openly. Okay.
Right.
And I don't affiliate with it because of the direction that the church took. So if I can say that, everybody is hurting, and spirit, the infinite creator and the omniverse, got to reign supreme. And it has to be done in a way that is going to allow everybody to have their personal journey with it. And it's only going to happen when truth prevails. And that's something that's taught in everybody's church denomination. We just don't stand on it. We don't stand on it.
They don't stand on it. That is the answer right there, honey.
So with that, ladies and gentlemen, honey, I know everybody wanted to hear my opinions on it. I've given some. You know, I'm very passionate about this. I'm going to be following this. It is my praise report that I send up that when this all passes, that the black church will scrutinize itself, will scrutinize its teachings, will scrutinize everything about its makeup, and that a dialogue is able to start so we can be honest and open with one another. It is my praise report that those who are all victims and victors or whatever of this particular magnitude, that they seek out the healing that they need, both in the spirit and in the natural, because it sounds like these boys are going to need some mental health counseling. It is my praise report that I send up, that when this is all said and done, that the souls and the people that Bishop Long has touched, and I've never been one of his supporters, and let me say that. I've never been one of his supporters. However, my praise report is that everybody that he's touched will end up accepting his truth and being able to deal with him in the real. And it is my praise report that I get to meet him face to face and put aside what my issues are with him and learn him as the man that he is, so that I can grow and accept him for who he is.
All right.
So with that,